it's all about automation. That really is what the READI platform is. And when we talk about automation, organizations do have a lot of choices. We see, big name products like UiPath and Automation Anywhere, Ricardo, and there's many more, right? Many organizations have technologies, ITSM technologies like ServiceNow. There's many options when we want to talk about automation. And so the first thing I like to do is to sort of divide things into two camps, and that is front office and back office. And most of the automation technologies that are out there today are designed to automate business processes. And that's a fundamental difference between the READI platform and those technologies. The READI platform is really all about the back end. It's all about connecting systems and data and manipulating settings and security and reports and the kinds of things that IT people do. And those people look very different than the people that are in the front office, and their skill sets are very different. So, there's the right tool for the right job. And when we look at the back office, we find people that are technically competent and understand what they need to do, but will struggle with the front end tools because they're designed for a different type of person, a different type of task. Likewise, if we were to take the READI platform and put it in the front office, our front office users would struggle because this is a platform that's designed for the back office. So very different target audiences. And so when we talk about automation, a lot of organizations want to automate, but are struggling with blockers. So we would take a look at what some of those blockers are. First one we often see is expertise. A lot of the automation technologies require people that are trained, certified on that technology, and they become very rare commodities. They're difficult to get, they're expensive, and they tend to move around a lot because they have opportunity. The next one is when organizations build these things, they're sort of the build versus buy type of mindset. And people are afraid to build because when they build these automations, they have to maintain them over time. And that becomes a technical debt, a liability. So that's sometimes a reason for people to hesitate to move forward with automation. And then the last one, and the one that I think is probably one of the biggest ones, is mindshare, which is just, where do I start? We know that we want to automate, but it just seems like I've got to climb this mountain before I can get any business value, and it's one of the big blockers. So to address these blockers, the READI platform was purpose built for IT people, for IT operations, specifically designed to address these blockers. The first one, the expertise side of the house, our bots, if you open the hatch and look inside the bot, it's PowerShell. And that's a language that every IT admin knows. It's also a language that is supported by the IT community. So if I wanted to create, let's say, a bot to disable a user account or assign a license or put somebody into a group, in 2 minutes, I can go onto the web, search, and there's the PowerShell code to do it. So I can literally, for most of the things that I want to do, I can take that, copy, paste, and put it inside the bot. And I now have a bot that can perform that function. Now that leads into the next blocker, which is maintenance. If you're building automations as big, complex, linear type architectures, they become fragile and difficult to maintain. And a lot of organizations are scared to death to touch those automations once they're built. Our approach was a Lego block approach. Build the Lego blocks and then allow you to click them together. And the Lego blocks are bots. And so inside of a bot, you have that little bit of PowerShell that puts somebody into a group. And if that logic needs to change, or the API changes, or whatever it is, you just have to go to that one bot, and that bot can be reused as a Lego block in your solutions. So we've made it very easy to maintain these automations over time. And because the skill set requires an admin who's reasonably savvy with PowerShell, It's very easy to maintain the talent to maintain these automations. Finally is mind share. And that's where our bot architect services come in. We understand that for a lot of organizations, they just want a problem solved. They don't want to become masters of automation. They will undoubtedly get there in time, but initially they just want a problem solved. And that's where our bot architect services come in. And that's where our partner Optiv really comes in. Optiv provides a lot of the automation services that go with our READI platform. So if we look at a typical automation and we look at, let's say that you don't have any automation platform in order to solve problems. We're now looking at just about every organization out there. Every org, every IT guy has written a script to go solve a problem, right? You spent a Saturday writing this script, and Monday morning you activate it and the problem gets solved, and it's awesome. But a lot of what you end up doing is building all of the plumbing. It's addressing all of the things that need to be addressed just to get to the start line where you can actually go and solve the business problem. So it's everything from, well, how do I securely obtain and maintain credentials? How do I store that script? Where do I store it? How do I run it? If I need API endpoints, how do I get that? I might need to stand up a web server. If I need to persist data, it goes on and on and on. And so we think of this as the 80-20 rule. 80% of the work that goes into automating in a native environment has no business value. And the small portion of time remaining is spent actually trying to solve the business problem. And that's really what the READI platform is all about. We change that equation so that you can spend your time focus on the business problem while the platform eliminates all of that plumbing. The platform provides all of those services so that you can have secure, governed automation and focus just on the business problems that you're trying to address. That's what we call our core automation. That's, every customer right out of the gate. That's take your automation that you have right now, your scripts that you have that are ungoverned, and just copy and move them into the platform. And you now have governed, secure automation. But it doesn't stop there. Because we are so focused on IT and our team has deep IT roots, we've built the READI services layer into the platform. And that's what gives you the ability to do advanced things without a lot of code. So whether it's building a connector to a system for managing entitlements or provisioning, for directory services to be able to have a centralized directory, approvals, you need to have your automations have some sort of an approval process. It's all baked in, and that's all part of the READI advanced services.